For me, it's the Lakers have always been the priority. If in 2007 Kobe decided that he did want to be traded to Chicago and that did go down, I would wish him well. I would still enjoy watching him play, but I wasn't going anywhere, dog. I would be a Laker fan no matter what. And that's never going to change.
You would dislike him. You've barely come around to Shaq. You still kind of...
I'm still lukewarm on Shaq at best.
Why?
I just don't like how his career went after he left the Lakers.
Yeah, but...
And you can't criticize him without him having to immediately fire back. And to me, I think, like, at that level, when you're that much of a mogul and that much of a success in your field and in multiple fields, he's a business mogul at this point. The fact that he still has to respond on Twitter to things, the fact that he's throwing random shots at Dwight.
How does that overshadow the fact that he spearheaded a three-peat?
It doesn't. I am not
so why are you
diminishing that.
Don't be lukewarm on him then.
I just don't like him that much as a person. I just think like
no. See, this is where I disagree with you. Look, I get it. He's sensitive. I'm not disagreeing with that. There's no need for him to respond to everything.
You think Jay-Z is responding to people's tweets?
No, absolutely not. And I'm not.
He's bigger than that.
I understand what you're trying to say, but let's not just throw his entire personality under the bus because he's sensitive to responding to criticism.
It's not just that, dog.
So what else?
The lack of work ethic, man. He could be the greatest player in the history of the world if he had that Kobe Bryant work ethic.
Yeah, but nobody did, from all accounts.
Well, I mean, you can make the argument that Jordan was kind of on that level in terms of like insane competitiveness. But the thing is,
no. Those are two different things, though. Insane competitiveness and work ethic are two different things.
Well, I think they feed into each other.
Everybody, from all personal testimony from former NBA players, said Kobe was ridiculous. He was at the gym hours before even practice started, did practice, went home and nap, and came back for a third workout. He would be at the gym at 4 a.m. Who else does that? Right.
Okay, let's not, because Kobe is such an outlier, let's say, what if Shaq had 75% of Kobe's work ethic? 50% of Kobe's work ethic. I don't think you can even say that. And I think if he did have 50% or 75% of that crazy work ethic, we're looking at the greatest player that's ever lived.
Agreed.
And that is just, it's like, yeah, he did great. He won 4 championships. He's a perennial all-star, arguably the most dominant player to ever live, even as is. But it's just like, there could have been another echelon to his greatness that he didn't quite get to.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I think this comes down to your initial distaste for LeBron, when the reality is that Shaq is better than Kobe despite all those things you eloquently just said.
Better?
Shaq? I'm sorry, not LeBron. It's better than Kobe.
You're saying Shaq is better than Kobe?
Right, and I think that's why you partially don't like Shaq.
No, it's just hard for me to compare the two just because they played different positions, and Shaq was just such a freak physically. I don't like it. I don't know. It's hard for me to compare centers to guards.
LeBron
it just
is one of the most. You could argue LeBron is the biggest freak of nature that the NBA has ever seen.
Either him or Shaq.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So why are we not discrediting LeBron for his athleticism that Kobe didn't possess? Kobe, I mean,
they're a small forward and a guard and a shooting guard are way more similar than a shooting guard and a center. To me, their games are just so different. They're so different physically. It's hard to, like, Kobe's probably the best one-on-one player ever, you could argue, right? Like,
has he played Shaq one-on-one?
Well, so that's what I'm getting at. If he played Shaq, he would probably lose.
Of course.
Right. So, I don't know. Like, there's such a physical disparity that whatever Shaq does, and you could say that he's better, and like
you need to bury the hatchet with Shaq.
I don't know, but like you got to
embrace him.
If I'm starting a
he
franchise,
has a statue outside of Staples Center.
I would rather start a franchise with Shaq over Kobe any day of the week. I'm not arguing that. I think it's just easier to compare LeBron's game or Jordan's game to Kobe versus Shaq's game to any of those players. So I just kind of look at them in different categories. So no, I don't think Shaq being better or more valuable has anything to do with me being kind of lukewarm on him at this point.
So it's time to bury the hatchet. I understand he's sensitive, but the man has a statue outside of Staples Center.
And shout out to him. Like I love him for what he did.
We would be 3 championships less without Shaq. As great as Kobe was in those early years.
Can I bring something else up, though, that
Sure.
really bothers me that I don't think people bring up as much? KD caught so much flack, right, for going to the best team ever assembled and trying to basically being like a ring chaser, right?
Yep.
Has there ever been a more egregious ring chaser in NBA history than Shaquille O'Neal? He was the hype beast of NBA contenders. He went around to literally every single contender trying to get that 5th championship.
Yeah, I get it. And look,
he was a Celtic at the end of his career, bro.
The difference is, and that's something I want to get into afterwards. The difference is that Shaq at that point wasn't a top player. He wasn't an elite player anymore. Let's call a spade a spade. He was not. So KD deciding to join the Warriors, not just any Warriors team, not just any elite team, the 73-9 Warriors who lost to LeBron just because LeBron is that echelon of a player, is different than Shaq at year 18 or 17, who's going to have a marginal impact at best, deciding to join a championship team. I get that but like, even if he won the 5th ring, okay, is that 5th ring going to be, are we going to have
I promise you he would talk about it. I promise you he would talk about it.
We wouldn't be able to say, we wouldn't be able to say,
5-time champion.
We wouldn't be able to compare that to Kobe's 5 rings. Was Kobe's clearly instrumental?
But I promise you he wouldn't put an asterisk.
But the NBA community wouldn't. They wouldn't say, "Oh, you were the championship driving force to 5 rings."
Maybe not, but the fact that he chased it so hard is a bad look.
Yes.
And I don't like it.
Okay.
That's what it is.
I understand that, but ultimately, he's sensitive. He left the Lakers.
Ring chaser, hype beast.
Yes.